Hi guys, this is JJ from Technique Matters, and so we're gonna do today is just walk you through my training. Basically, we're gonna talk about my primary days, which is day 1 and 2, where I'm doing my heavier squat and bench and deadlift. So what I'm gonna do as well is to basically show you my prep, my lifting, my top sets, and my back offs, and then I'm just gonna run you through what I'm thinking as I'm doing those lifts. So without further ado, let's start. Alright, so I usually start my workout with just doing some general movement prep, and this one that I really like, it's called the foam roller dead bug. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm actually reaching my knees and my hands to the ceiling, and that gives me a good core position. And what this drill is good for is maintaining core rigidity while you move through different ranges of hip flexion and extension, which is just like the main lift. So the next row that I'm doing is called the short oblique side plank, and what I'm doing here is trying to find my internal obliques, which will help me maintain that good rib cage and pelvic position. And what I'm doing is actually not just crunching off the floor or like side crunching off the floor. I'm actually trying to rotate my body away and reach forward. I'm breathing through these positions to really feel that internal oblique activate, and it's still a new drill for me, so I'm still playing around with it. So right after that would be going into an upright position, and I like to do the front foot elevated goblet split squat to start, because what it does is actually helps me to get my weight back over my hips, and it allows me to feel good positions like my abs and then my inner thighs, my glutes, my hamstrings, and my quads, all of which will help me to stabilize and really feel powerful as I'm able to push off both legs. And finally, we move into a bilateral stance. So I'll do a heel elevated goblet squat here. So same thing as well, I'm trying to get my weight back by having a goblet squat position, and I'm trying to really sit onto my heels. So what I'm trying to do is also feel abs and my glutes and hamstrings work to stabilize as I move through that full range of motion and be able to push up strongly off the heels. So right after the 4 drills, which doesn't take me more than 5 minutes, I go straight under the bar, and I do 2 times tempo reps followed by 2 times pause reps, just to be able to feel things out and see how my body is feeling on that day, if there are any issues that I need to do more drills on. And then I finish off by doing just 2 comp reps, where I just go at the speed which I do my normal reps at. And then straight away it's going into 1 red, which is 70 kilos, just 3 reps at a normal competition speed. I haven't put my belt on here, so it's just really just feeling it out. So what I'm trying to do with my warm-up is really to feel out if I need to do any other things with it, as well as how my session will go based on how like the lighter weights are going. And the next jump I'm going to make after this is straight into 2 reds, which is 120 kilos, where I put my belt on, and what we're doing is really focusing on just executing it like it's a good rep. So what you'll see here is I will unrack, I wait for the bar to really settle before I really take my time to just walk it out, right? And as I'm walking it out, you will see what I'll do is I will brace, and after I brace, I will actually let the bar settle again. And what I'm doing here is actually building tension in the core as well as in the legs, and how I'm doing that is driving down through the ground and using that stability from the ground. The next weight up is 140 kilos, so I do this for just a single, and I want you guys to listen to this. So basically what's happening there is, if I can hear that click of the barbell, I know that I'm not moving sluggishly and that I'll have a good session. So this is my last warm-up of 160 kilos. And everything is being done exactly the same. The unrack, the walkout, the waiting for the bar to settle, the pressurizing, and then the lift itself. And after that is my planned top single for today, which is 172.5 kilos. Yeah, so same thing, unrack, wait, settle, 1 step, 2 step, 1 step out, settle, brace, pressurizing, settle, knees forward, bars to heels, up. So what I try to do once I've completed the rep is literally just ask myself how did that feel and rate an RP straight away so as not to overthink. So this is my last back down set of 157.5 kilos for 4, and it moved really well at sub 6, which was really surprising considering for the whole workout while I was doing my back downs. They felt a little uncomfortable, but it actually got better as it wore on. Like my adductors felt a bit weird, but like the more reps I did, it just got better, so I didn't want to overthink it. And I think also filming for you guys actually made me want to move this really well. So moving on to bench press. So I changed into my heels, and what I do is just get on with my prep drills. So my first drill is called the bench supported deep squat breathing, where I try to create a lot of flexion through my whole spine. So what I'm trying to achieve is actually to create some sort of like loosening, since squats and deadlift will could use a bit of extension and cause your back to become tight, and that will compromise your ability to hyperextend and arch. So the same thing for the rock back breathing as well, just getting more of this flexion into the spine. And once I've done that, I just go into actually driving extension and breathing in a position that's very specific to the bench press. So for that, I use this T-spine pale rail with a breathing, and it's just used to sort of like drive extension but expansion of the rib cage as well. So I usually do some reps with the empty bar as well, but I forgot to film them. So after that, I go into doing 70 kilos for easy triple as well. So what I'm actually doing here is just like really making sure that I set up the same way. And what I'm doing here is actually a bottom up setup, where what you will see is actually I set my feet first, and then once I set my feet, I will go into this position where it's kind of like an inverted row, where I'm trying to just pull my shoulder blades up together like so, and drive through my quads. So really driving myself back up the bench. So if you can see here on this 120 single, where I'm actually using my quads to really kick myself, as well as my lats to really pull the bar down towards the touch point. And you'll see what I mean here on the top single of 127.5. So look at how I'm just really actually just setting my feet first. So my legs are just like in that position, and I just try not to move them too much. And then I grab the bar and try to, really just actually what I'm trying to do here is actually just relax, right? Just relax first, let all the tension go before I do an inverted row. I pull myself forward just to cock my quads, and then now I'm really driving hard back through my legs as well. And as I'm doing that, I'm trying to pull my shoulder blades down towards my hips, and as I unrack, that continues to happen. And once I put my butt down, it's ready to go. And that single and my comp max move really easy at 7, so I don't think it's my max anymore. So you see the exact same thing on my back off sets here as well. I set my legs first, so I try not to move my legs too much as well, but I'm actually trying to find a spot where I can build quad tension. And then once I do that, I relax, I do my inverted roll, and then I start yogaing into position, right? And as I'm doing that, my legs are really like actively trying to find a good grip to kick from, and my quad should be really tensioned. And then I do everything right, get the lift off, and when I'm ready, I put my hips down. And why I put my hips down last is actually for competition reasons, is to signal to the referees that I'm ready, and when I put my hips down, I expect the start command. Yeah, so I kind of hit the rack on the last rep of that set. So moving on to deadlift, this is one of my go-to prep drills for deadlift, which is a split stance kettlebell RDL. And what I'm trying to do here is basically drive some internal rotation at the hips so that I can externally rotate as well as feel some hamstrings, some glutes, and some abs. Generally, my prep for deadlift isn't so different from my prep for squats, aside from doing this drill as well as a sumo glute hold, which I didn't film. So then we move on to warming up with some weight on the bar with 70 kilos, and I typically like to do my deadlift warm-ups paused until a certain point before I start pulling full reps as well. So my first warm-up was always 70 kilos, and for a pause triple, really just trying to get long arms and just wedge into the bar. Similarly for the 120 as well, I'm also going to pause it, but this time for a single. So what's happening here is I'm actually just making my arms long and just holding onto the bar, setting my hooks while I'm pushing into the floor to tension my hamstring, glutes and quads. And then what I just do after that is just bring my hips to meet the bar. Then I do the same thing at 150 for another pause single. So right after this set of warm-up, I just go straight into doing just pulling straight from the floor without a pause. So I actually do the same thing as well, but this time I just tell myself that once I feel the tension in all the right places, I just brace and then I start driving my legs into the ground to pull slack. And then once I feel like the bar has been properly tensioned and all the right muscles are tensioned, I just think about bringing my hips in towards to meet the bar. So my 170 last warm-up felt really good, so I decided to take a 20 kilo jump to my top single. Before this set, I actually saw Clinton pull my subtotal in just one lift, so I was just like, okay, I guess I have to do it too. I just can't back down now. So I just put some music on and then do everything the same. And you see me try to do everything as similarly as possible. So this is the same thing that's happening here as well. So my planned single moved at a 7 today, which was really good. So the way Clinton writes my programs is really in a way where we just don't even feel anything pulling singles anymore, and like we actually get more afraid of doing the back offs and because that's where the work really happens. And sometimes you can when I'm pulling my back offs, I'm just like, okay, I'm not even sure if I'll get to the end, but I was just like, I try to execute as best as possible, you know. And usually for back offs as well, I try to use straps just so that I can focus on pulling. And I noticed something today which I will talk about in another video about my deadlifts and straps. But other than that, I think this set really moved really okay. The last one I kind of lost balance a bit, but overall was a really good session. So yeah, guys, that was my weekly recap for this week. If I hope you found something helpful from the video, and if you got any questions, you can just slide into my DMs and ask them in my DMs, or you can put them down in the comment section below. If you found this content useful, you can like and subscribe and share it with people where you think it will benefit. And just let us know if you like content like that, and we will try to do more stuff that will help you with your lifting. So yeah. This is JJ from Technique Matters. I'll see you next time.